Part A, find the mode or class interval. Well, mode is our most occurring. Therefore, to find the mode or class interval, I find my highest frequency, which in this case is 10, but I always read off from left. Hence, my mode or class interval is S is greater than or equal to 10 and less than 20. Part B, find the class interval that contains the median. Well, our median is our middle value. I know there's 30 days. Therefore, to find the median, I did a number of days, in this case 30, and always divide by 2 to find the median. Well, 30 divided by 2 will give us 15. So I want to find the 15th day. As it's a group frequency table, I know my data is in order. So I keep adding my frequency until I reach the 15th day. For my first row, I've got a frequency of 8. Have I got to 15? No. So I keep adding. Well, 8 add 10. That'll bring us to 18. Have I reached the 15th day? Yes. So therefore, again, I always read off from left. Hence, my median class interval is S is greater than or equal to 10 and less than 20. Part C, calculate estimate for the mean. Well, our mean is the one we call our meany one, as it requires a lot of work. To find an estimate for the mean from a group frequency table, my first step is to add 2 extra columns. My first column is called my midpoint, and my next column is called my frequency multiplied by my midpoint. To find the midpoint, we just go in the middle of each of our class intervals, i.e. what's in between 0 and 10 in the middle, in this case is 5. What's in between 10 and 20, in this case 15. What's in between 20 and 30, in this case 25. What's in between 30 and 40, in this case 35. And what's in between 40 and 50, in this case 45. If you can't spot the midpoint straight away, all we have to do is we add up our lower and upper bound for each of our class interval. In this case 40, add 50. And we always divide by 2. Well, 40 add 50 is 90. And 90 divided by 2 give us our 45, which we know is our midpoint. We now multiply the frequency by the midpoint for each of our rows. For our first row, 5 times 8 gives us 40. For our next row, 15 times 10 gives us 150. For our next row, 25 times 7 gives us 175. For our next row, 35 times 2 gives us 70. And finally, for our last row, 45 times 3 gives us 135. We then always total the frequency times the midpoint. So I just add up 40, add 150, add 175, add 70, add 135. And that comes to a total in this case of 570. And we always total up our frequency. In this case, we add up our 8, add 10, add 7, add 2 and 3, and that comes to 30. All we do to work out an estimate for the mean is we divide our total frequency times midpoint, in this case our 570, and we always divide it by the total frequency, which in this case is 30. And 570 divided by 30, that will give us an estimate for the mean to be 19. It's an estimate as it's group data, as we don't have the individual days of snowfall. Part D, find the percentage of days with 30 centimetres or more of snow. As I want 30 centimetres or more, looking at my table, well, 30 centimetres or more would correspond to the last 2 rows, as that's between my 30 and my 50. Therefore, to work out the total number of days, I'm going to add up my number of days, my frequency. In this case, 2 add 3 gives us 5. So there's 5 days with 30 centimetres or more snow. We always divide by the total frequency. In this case, we're told there was 30 days. So 5 divided by 30. As we want a percent, we know percent means out of 100. Hence, we now multiply by 100. Substituting into our calculator, that gives us 16.7% when we're out to 1 decimal place.